Yeah, so Buildit is one of the local accelerators investing across Baltics. Some of our graduates have gone already way beyond Europe and have now based in the US and all over. So a local accelerator with global graduates. So what I was willing to share today is our announcement or open call for batch 17, regular call when we take in teams to work together with them. They work in between with them. So there is a group of similarly minded individuals and teams working for a similar purpose. Having said that, so the program is roughly 4 months long. We invite teams over for 4 separate weeks to focus on different areas of startup development. Just for I guess a detail, there is the schedule. It will be published on our website and media as well quite soon. So we will start our batch 17 on September 27, and the demo day when the teams will be able to show their solutions and talk with investors and other portfolio companies as well on December 8. So that's roughly the schedule. What we are looking for, so we are looking for young teams, not older than 3 years. The solution might be, a bit older, or you might have worked on it for longer, but the company must be still young. There must be at least 2 founders in a team. We do not believe in solo founder teams. We believe that there is a team effort behind every success story. Plus, and I guess it goes without saying, it should be a scalable business model. VCs invest not in slowly growing businesses, so there must be great ambition and also the skill set to grow quickly. And in terms of development stage, we are quite open. Ideally, there would be a prototype or already a viable product, but of course we're open and we're happy to work together with you. There are cases also in our portfolio when the team is already well established, the prototype is there, design for manufacturing is there, and it's just a matter of scaling and some additional financing. So feel free to reach out and we'll see if there is a match. What we do offer, so as every accelerator, a learning program, access to mentors, one-to-one sessions, group sessions. Also, yeah, as mentioned, pre-seed and seed funding. What I mean by that, in our case, pre-seed funding up to 50K and a follow-on seed funding up to 250K. Thus, we are able to support the team up to 300,000 euros for their initial investment. That, and I guess for a visual, there might be some teams I see some of them in the audience. I guess Bruntor is here, right? Yeah. And a few more we've talked to. Yeah, I guess what I was willing to say with this is that even though we are a hardware accelerator, our teams come from different industries. There's biotech, fintech, DeepTech, even some food tech, as well as medtech, software. So quite a huge crowd. Meaning, if you have a scalable business idea, feel free to reach out to us. We're not looking only for hardware ideas. Or if you are seeking a reference, take a note who are our teams, reach out to them, and they'll tell you a bit more from their perspective, how's it going with us. Yeah, so I guess that's it from my side. Applications open until September 1st as the school year starts. We'll start interviewing our new teams, and who knows, maybe there are some of you thinking about it, and we'll see you quite soon. That's about it. Am I on time? I am. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Āris. I'm the head of startup programs at innovation management company Helve, and one of such programs that we recently launched with the help of LIA and Riga City Council is called Future Hub Climate. And basically why we chose climate is because there's a lot of problems that every one of us has. On a personal level, it's actually struggle is good. But on a societal level, it's not as good, probably you would agree to say, right? And when it comes to climate, there's a lot of things that are either not working at all or are not working as well as they should. First of all, you probably have noticed some changes. Ice caps are melting. There are heat waves that last for months instead of days or weeks. And then any time a scientist talks to the UN, the headlines afterwards are, we're already fucked. Okay, that's a statement, but how is it helping really? Well, luckily for us, there's a lot of smart minds and startups out there that are working on solutions and ways to improve the situation. Unluckily for us, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time. You can work for years to just get to a prototype, and then still you have to validate with a real client, and it's really hard to get to that client. You need a lot of money, you have to get to an investor, and that's a real struggle. So you can join an incubator, but then there's a huge gap between this incubator, your first client, or your first funding round. Well, luckily, there's a lot of accelerators out there, but again, unluckily, a lot of these accelerators are following this sort of cookie cutter, one-size-fits-all approach. So they treat all the teams the same, they go through the same workshops, they have the same mentors, and so on. But that's not really working because no two startups are the same, they all need a tailored approach. So I cannot say that we can fix everything because we obviously can't. But we can do our part and we can help the startups do theirs. So what we're offering with our program are two main things. One of them is product validation, which basically means that for each startup we find a corporate partner to test their product, to test a new use case, and we also give them up to 5,000 euros to cover the cost of this testing or to make some improvements to the prototype. And this is all equity free. So, as I said, a tailored approach is needed. So what we do, we actually build the program together with the startup. Right before the program starts, we do a needs assessment. First, the startup assesses itself, and then we have external evaluators, which will assess what are the needs, and then using this information together with the startup, we make a tailored program. So what the program that starts in October, it will look completely different for each startup. The beginning point and the end point is the same, but everything that happens in between, not that much. So, as I said, there's a lot of accelerators out there. So why would you choose Future Hub Climate? I'm not going to say that we're completely different or that we're reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But there are some things that we're doing differently. So a lot of accelerators will take equity from you, and quite often they actually take too much and give too little in return. As we're funded by the Riga City Council and LIA, we're actually taking no equity, we're taking care of ourselves, and we expect you to do the same. Then also, joining an accelerator can be very time-consuming. You're running a startup, that's a full-time job. You're probably trying to raise funding, that's another full-time job. And then you're joining an accelerator, do you need a third one? So we're basically treating this more like a side gig, not a full-time job. So you will be focusing on the things you actually should already be doing as part of your startup work. And finally, we're getting rid of content for the sake of content. So no unnecessary workshops. You don't want to be there, I don't want to be there. So what are we doing? So you're just focusing on your tailored program. And this is the first time we're running this program, but this is something that we've been doing for quite a long time. So over the last 3 years, we've had our hand in 33 proof of concept pilots and 15 full-scale pilots ranging anywhere from 10,000 euros to 100,000 euros. And now we're kind of switching it up because previously we focused on the corporation needs and scouted the startups for them. But now we're actually starting with the startup, switching it around, scouting corporations and recruiting them for you. And there's definitely need for this. You can see from our applications, we're seeing like 40% growth in applications every week. You can see that there's a bit more than 2 more weeks left. There you should apply, and this very last one is probably where you will apply. And there's also a third group that writes us 2 days after and say, hey, I wanted to apply, but sorry, that's not gonna fly. So the question for you is probably, are you a good fit? And there are a few criteria that you have to meet. First of all, you have to work on a climate tech startup. If you're working on something else, you will need to find something else. Then you should be based in the Baltics. This is a bit flexible. But then the main thing is that we're looking for Idea Plus stage companies. And what is Idea Plus stage? That's basically a term I made up, which means that you have an idea, but you actually have worked on it for a while. So you kind of developed a prototype, maybe still need to do a little bit. You probably haven't attracted any major funding. I would say up to 50,000 is fine. And it's very likely that you don't have any paying customers yet, which is fine, we'll help you find them. So if you're not a climate tech startup but are still curious about climate, there's also something for you, the way you can follow the progress basically of the teams that we're going to select. And this is Baltic Sustainability Awards. This is something that we've been doing for 3 years now. And the next one is on December 7th. So during this, we will also conclude our Future Hub Climate program. We're going to have a demo day where we're inviting climate tech investors. So if you're joining this event, you have the chance to see that. And on top of that, you're going to see also all the front runners in sustainability in the Baltics. So for the startups, the applications are open until September 12. Don't wait until September 13. And if you have any questions, I will be around here. I will be around at the Startup Barbecue in the evening as well. Otherwise, head to futurehub.eu/climate, and we hope to see you among the applicants, and hopefully you're good enough to be selected. Thank you.
I am Madara from BADideas.fund, and I am here to tell you about Fundraising School. This is one for all the founders out there who are building their MVP and who are looking to fundraise this year. I am not here to tell you that fundraising is hard. Probably you already know that, from ghosted investor emails, really poor feedback, and just less and less money in the bank account. Probably you also suspect that you're not the only one, and you're right. Almost a half of early stage founders struggle to raise capital. And look, that's what we see in our angel investment syndicate as well. Unclear narrative, just no idea as to what you actually do with the investment, or just, like, too generic of a pitch are just some of the reasons that prevent us from investing in otherwise stellar teams. But guess what? Turns out that fundraising, just like sales or finance, is a skill you can learn. And in our ethos of always being helpful, we're actually doing something about it. So we're launching Fundraising School. It is an online 2-month boot camp that will cover fundraising from A to Z. It will, in my opinion, have a nice mix of webinars, interactive workshops, and firesides with mentors, founders who've actually been through this and know, how to actually do fundraising. At the end of the program, you will be able to pitch your idea to a select group of investors, and thanks to generous support from Leah, we are able to offer this for free. Through Fundraising School, we want to bring the best of Silicon Valley etiquette to our region, and we are doing this with the help of 2 amazing instructors. Diana's name will be familiar to a few. She's head of people at Whimsical, but in her past life, she was a VC at Superhero and Overkill. She will be joined by Suhas, who hails from San Francisco. He's a serial entrepreneur, a 500 Startups alumni, and look, if there's 2 people who know how to ace fundraising, it's them. As I said, at the end of the program, you'll be able to pitch your idea to a select group of investors. And that's just, a selection of the logos who really want to hear you out. We really want you to be successful. So how that's going to work is we will pre-match you with investors based on your industry, stage, and, like that overall alignment and values, because we really, really, really want you to, get there at the end of the day. And through Fundraising School, you will essentially become part of the BADideas.fund community. Currently, it consists of over 150 members from over a dozen of countries who have collectively built the kinds of companies that have raised over 13 billion in funding. These are people who are investing in new startups because they really want to give back to the ecosystem. And this is the best and the most supportive community that you can actually ask for. I know what you're thinking. It's hard out there. Tech meltdown is real. You keep hearing no's, and I feel you. But we truly believe that the next generation of unicorns will be born in this recession. And right now, more than ever, investors really want to back stellar teams with amazing visions and solid plans on how to get there. And I'm not just saying that. Over the past year, we've invested over 2 million in 15 amazing teams. And through Fundraising School, you can actually become one of them. You can join this amazing group of people. Okay, so what's the bottom line? We're launching Fundraising School very soon. Applications close in 2 days. And just like Āris said, don't be that person who reaches out next Tuesday and is like, whoa, I really want to do this. Apply now. We're doing the sessions over September and October, and the investor speed dating sessions will happen in early November so that you have enough time to get those follow-ups, and who knows, maybe even term sheets this side of Christmas. Okay, so to apply, scan that QR code, follow that link, or come find me at Startup Barbecue later in the day to find out more. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. The previous speaker had definitely better voice than me today, so I'll have some tea while I speak. So I'm going to speak about a bit different topic than the previous speakers. We're going to talk about deep tech right now, as soon as the correct slides are up. So I would like to spend next 10 minutes of time in navigating you through your journey of becoming a deep tech entrepreneur. So myself, I'm managing partner and head of entrepreneurial development vector at Commercialization Reactor. And if somebody doesn't know what deep tech is, it's a classification of organization with a very, let's say, highlighted objective, expressed objective of providing technology solutions based on substantial scientific or engineering challenges. So why it is important, why to care, why does it have to be different? So why do even technologies matter that much? So, and why technology-driven innovation matters? And in simple terms, it's because it can make huge positive impact on the planet, depending on the science that you're commercializing or bringing to the market. So in the past 100 years, with help of technology, child mortality was reduced more than 100 times, from 50% to just 4%. It was not because we started to pray more, but it was because there were certain practices introduced, technological practices, hygienic practices, that are all science-based. So increase of life expectancy, sustainable food production, and other things like disease prevention and cure of cancer are things that you solve with science, not with apps. And there is a different pathway of bringing this to life. Of course, there is stuff that technologies can do and stuff that technologies cannot do. We still cannot fix greed, narcissism, unethical consumption, lack of spirituality, moral degradation, and list goes on forever because we're human and we're infinitely beautiful as a species, but also infinitely, you can see that the list goes on. So, but let's focus on what technologies can. And therefore, deep tech entrepreneurship that I would like to open doors now with the following framework, with the following courses and the following sequence for each of individuals that find themselves to resonate with this kind of topics, which is for those who find power and purpose in contributing towards making better and more sustainable tomorrow, which identify themselves as mission-driven entrepreneurs. This is probably then for you. So, and for me personally, after over 10 years of career in deep tech startups, deep tech entrepreneurship, it is more about reducing net amount of suffering in the world using technology. So this is really a noble and humbling thing to do. It is a bit further to the money because the commercialization journey takes a bit longer, but there's a lot of very strong points in it. So, but let's talk about how science is brought to see the light of the day. We know everybody that it's impossible to do science, to commercialize science, to bring technology to life without scientists. So, and specifics of scientists, those are people who perceive beauties of nature through intellectual instruments. And that's what they do, that's what they love to do. And when it is about bringing science to market, it is jungle, it's a mess, and in many cases it brings people to start feeling miserable. So if you like to do science, if you like to investigate things, you don't necessarily like to do business. And you need to refocus yourself, which also drags your attention from what you do. Therefore, our approach, which we would like to invite everyone who is today listening to this, is to consider another power, entrepreneurial power, a separate person, and maybe many of you yourself who are sitting in the audience can identify yourself as the person whose main goal is to make things happen. And therefore, a very specific symbiotic relationship between scientist and entrepreneur can be built. And actually, there's no technical background required for entrepreneurial-minded person to commercialize science. And you can learn it starting 31st of August. There will be a link later on how to break down any science to atoms of logic to construct a vision of a business in just 5 weeks of training courses. So you would understand what type of beast this deep tech is. So, and we in Commercialization Reactor in the past 14 years have been developing the methodology for doing so. We bring scientists who are willing to continue being scientists, together with entrepreneurial-minded people to enter this symbiotic relationship and build business together as co-founders. So we've done this since 2009. We've created more than 130 startup teams in space tech, biotech, nanotech, AI, and other domains. Those raised capital, and the list goes on. We're going to speak a bit more about those startups. But it really breaks down the journey into 3 major steps. The first one is ignition qualifiers for entrepreneurs. It's when you explore the life cycle of deep tech startup as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as one who is going to cooperate with scientists, and as a founder bring this technology to market through productization of this scientific achievement. So later on, once you finish this 5-week course, you qualify for a specific event called Ignition Event, which in the past 14 years we've done 21 times. It's going to be our 22nd Ignition Event, where you will be able to connect with pre-selected, pre-validated science champions who are willing to engage in collaboration with entrepreneurs such as you. So, and later on, you will be able to create startups with them and raise capital. And this is very important to save the date because the thing starts on 31st of August. Thanks to Leah, this is free of charge for participants, so it's a sponsored event. And it's a 5-week course, 1 time per week, where you could have this knowledge for yourself, and which could be used in so many different domains of life, to be honest. So later on, after 5 weeks, starting in August, we're going to have our 22nd Ignition Event, where you will be able to connect with scientists. And in November, we're going to have our future course, the Founders Dive course, to get as an acceleration program, where you will have a chance to get your first 50K investment with subsequent investment up to 250K in within next year. So, but let's speak a bit more about ignition qualifiers. This is all based on our methodology that we've been carefully developing upon experience and other people, our team's experience and other people's experience, experts, global experts in science commercialization, to bring this compact course that would allow you to make a cautious decision whether this journey is for you or no. So it's powered by entrepreneurs, so it's not developed by consultants, but actually by people who are from the field. Every person who is giving a lecture there, teaching, he is a DeepTech founder himself. He has been through this journey. He raised capital. He sometimes failed. He sometimes succeeded. So, and as I mentioned, there are figures behind this whole thing. So about ourselves, you should differentiate two things. It's Commercialization Reactor as a platform for education and for matchmaking with scientists and support of the startup very early stage, so startup creation, and as a fund. So we also have fund under management, which allows us to have a unique instrument to invest specifically in deep tech startups with deep tech founders inside. So, and this is government supported, so huge thanks to putting a faith in this whole movement, because this is stimulating knowledge-based economy in Latvia, so importing science here and creating innovative startups. So, and we were working with European Institute of Innovation Technology for years now and have proven that this methodology of ours is also working internationally. So last year we've created several international teams with entrepreneurs from Croatia, Estonia, Slovenia, and scientists from Latvia, Spain, Croatia, Slovenia, whatsoever, and we're expanding more and more. Some of remarkable cases in space tech, in biotech, in nanotechnologies, the very first startup, one of the very first startups in our batch has exited in 2005. You've heard their second startup has now raised 10 million this year. So this whole journey, if it resonates after the Ignition qualifiers, you are very welcome to go to the Ignition event, which, as I mentioned, is going to happen in October. A place in space and time where you will be able to find your science that you're willing to work with. Find your science and find your scientist, because it's all chemistry. It's all about building bonds, establishing trust. And actually, to be honest, there's same courses for entrepreneurs. There are same courses for scientists, which allows scientists to also understand how to appreciate entrepreneurial work, because it's not yet a product. It's only in terms of business value, the value is more or less zero. In terms of academia, it's high value. So it's important to understand the reality for both sides of this symbiotic mutualistic relationship that is about to be built. So there's 5-week course in parallel for scientists that we are running starting September 6th. And we've learned it the hard way that we need those kind of courses. We do it for 4 years, and thanks again for Latvian Investment Development Agency to support us on this journey. So it's about exposing those two worlds to the problematics of creating and building deep tech startup. And just a few words about the portfolio. We have more than 100 startup teams now, out of which roughly 70 are invested and currently active in such fields as new materials, Industry 4.0, robotics, agriculture, data, AI, and many more, all born through Ignition event and by entrepreneurs who dared to enter this journey. So, all created by entrepreneurs and scientists together. So you will see during Ignition event in October, after you qualify from the course, you will see scientist presentations, and you will enter matchmaking process with them, and you will be able to speak with absolutely any scientist that you find interesting to have a discussion and deeper insight on what they're doing and maybe to start a business together. And after this matchmaking, all at the same place, you'll be able to make a proto team together, and then prepare the first pitch already on the second day of the event, which will allow you to see that, wow, this actually is possible. I can pitch now converted science that I see as a product. And this is only the first steps. Afterwards, you will be able to enter the Founders Dive, the Incubation Acceleration Program, which will have you fueled with 50K investment. So your journey starts now if you dare to, and let's connect. So everybody who is interested in following this, please enter this Telegram group. There will be updates on this. There will be updates about, I will post a link in an hour about registration for the event. There's more than 100 subscribers right now in the group, and it will have myself updating on the important events that are happening throughout the year if you are interested in innovation and all this kind of stuff. So thank you very much. Join the channel. If any questions, please hit me up.
Once again, my name is Alina, and I'm representing in Latvia the EIT Food, which is at the moment the largest agri-food innovation initiative in the world. For those of you who are not familiar with the EIT, or European Institute of Innovation and Technology, it is an independent EU body or organization which is working towards fostering innovation within European countries. So EIT is operating by so-called innovation and knowledge communities, or KICs, and you see a little representation of them on the screen. So there are different KICs, each working towards solving one global challenge, starting with the oldest one, which is EIT Climate KIC, working towards the transition to zero carbon economy, and EIT Food, which is leading the transformation of the European food system to making it more sustainable, more healthy, and more trusted for people. Excuse me. This is the big picture, yes, which we are very proud of, that the Riga Technical University represents three of the knowledge and innovation communities in Latvia in collaboration with other science universities, which is food, RawMaterials, and urban mobility. And my colleagues later will also talk more about these two hubs. And in Latvia, we also have the EIT Helve, which is represented by Riga Lazdins University, and we will have a colleague here as well later on. So, but I will go deeper into the EIT Food. As I have mentioned, this is since the last year, not even largest in Europe, but the largest innovation food initiative in the world, which has more than 200 different organizations working together for innovation projects and trying to foster technologies and innovations into European market. So these are research organizations, academia, and startups who are building the bridge to enter the market faster. So EIT Food supports and mostly focuses on 6 innovation areas, from alternative proteins, targeted nutrition, sustainable agriculture and aquaculture, digital traceability, circular food systems, and technology for sure, which is the cross-sector enabler. And these are all interrelated and closely aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and with the European strategies from farm to fork. So these are the priority areas if you recognize yourself and your startup working in this area. So you definitely need to look at the EIT Food support programs. Those programs are usually divided into 4 big blocks, starting with education, and there are different summer schools, professional development programs. These are all for free, and they're for youth, and to drive the next talents in the food sector. There are currently open some summer schools that you can check on the website. Then there is a big innovation block, so-called, and as well, few times per year, and they're announcing a call where the consortium of startup and industry representative can apply in order to have a grant to de-risk the investment of introducing the product to the market. Public engagement is more related with consumer engagement activities, maybe not relevant for you that much. And the big block, which is very relevant to you, is the entrepreneurship support block. And here the EIT Food on the international level covers all stages of idea development, starting from challenge labs, which is more ideation and idea development together with the industry representatives, like solving their challenges, getting your technology adapted to the particular needs of the industry. There is a great free program, Team Up, where scientists can match with the business person and vice versa and develop their venture internationally. And the second big block, or those flagship, very popular programs in the agri-food, agri-tech sector, which are open on the annual basis, are these three, starting from launch stage or seedbed incubator. So this is for technology, testing your technology or getting your technology out of the lab to the market. So basically testing your solution, validating with consumers. This is a 3-month program with the free grant up to 10K in order to test and validate with the industry representatives. Then the next stage is the acceleration program, which is very popular across countries. And this is more for startups who are already established and who have already shown some traction in the local market in order to foster transition and enter the European market faster. And raising food stars already for ambitious scale-ups that want or will have individual plan how to enter the big players out there. So these are very impactful programs, and they are run across 5 countries, each focusing on the separate topic. And what is more, and which I'm especially proud of, that during the last 2 years we have increased the number of applications from Latvia, and also the number of graduates who have been into the programs and started their success journey. And here are some examples. Elogium or poultry probiotics team, they have been in the incubator previously. There's the Weedbot team, who were the first team being in the accelerator program in the UK, and now they have raised the next round of investment, so they're getting into the successful journey. Biorefic, and also already mentioned Fermentful, which is doing very well. So we are growing the agri-food and agri-tech community in Latvia. If you're interested in the support programs, follow the entrepreneurship.EIT Food EU. Currently, there are no open calls. The next call for the year will start in January, so we have plenty of time to prepare the application and get it done, and follow the RTU ZITs for activities which will be set locally, and we will have in October the meetup, Agri-Food Community Meetup, so you're very welcome to join us there. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so my name is Aigars Lazdins. I also represent the Riga Technical University's Science and Innovation Center, and my main responsibility is to design and implement different activities regarding the smart city topic in general, and especially, of course, this EIT Urban Mobility Initiative. So, yep. Okay, sorry. Okay, I will start without the presentation. So EIT Urban Mobility Initiative stands for making our lives within the city environment like more sustainable in different ways. And mostly all of activities implemented by urban mobility are focused or on the capacity building of different groups of the society, or of course, like fostering the innovation capacity of idea holders and startups. And since the end of 2021, we also established a representation of EIT Urban Mobility in Latvia. And this hub is established by Innovation Movement WEFRESH, Riga Technical University, and Riga City Council. So basically, on the national level, like on a yearly basis, we organize different kind of activities like conferences, workshops, seminars, discussions regarding the topic, of course. And on the other hand, of course, we have like local support programs as a hackathons, incubators, pre-incubators, and even accelerators on the national scale. To be honest, also, all the activities mostly are organized during the first part of the year, but this year we still have one activity planned. So at the end of November, on 29th of November, we will hold a hackathon, urban mobility hackathon, where is defined 5 challenge areas, and any interessant or idea holder of the sector can definitely join this great activity. And also we will provide all participants of this activity with the mentors, with also maybe some new business contacts for you from the industry. And in the end of the hackathon, of course, there will be a ceremony of awarding the winners, and there is a prize pool of say 6,000 euros. So follow us on social networks, and there will be detailed information regarding this hackathon in probably a few days. So on the EU level, there is like central body in Budapest that also like designing and implementing different kind of activities. And probably the most interesting one is these open calls for funding for startups. These open calls are designed in a way that they are like tackling the needs of different level of startups. So basically, there are open calls for like small amount of money up to 3,000 euros to develop first prototype. And of course, there are some open calls where you can apply for funding up to 200,000. So quite a lot of money. But the bad thing, as Alina also mentioned it, all the calls already was organized during the first part of the year, but the great thing that we will have the next year, and definitely the open calls will be structured in more or less the same way. The next thing, we also have this quite a lot of capacity building activities, starting from I don't know, YouTube videos where experts explaining some subsectors of the urban mobility. There are some one-day courses or weekly courses, and even we have a master's program of related to the urban mobility topic. And the great thing about this capacity building block is that most of the activities are completely free of charge. So basically, do not hesitate to explore around the homepage of urban mobility, and you will find these possibilities for you, and for sure you can grow also as an individual regarding this topic. And the next thing that I wanted to share is this urban mobility marketplace. So basically, it's a digital platform where any startup can apply to. So his idea is published in this marketplace digital platform, and for you as a startup, it will be like advertisement for free. But on the other hand, you can just explore this marketplace and try to find some potential cooperation partner or even inspire from other startups across the Europe and beyond that. And the last thing, it's the most fresh thing launched by Urban Mobility is this also digital platform called Growth Lab. So the main idea of this platform is it's functioning as in a way of social network for urban mobility sector. So basically, You can register there, find your new business contacts from the industry, from the public sector, and so on. And the best thing about this platform is that all the information about open calls, which ones will be like open in the near future, are like published in this platform, like as a first step, and then like in a month only it's published in general urban mobility platform. So if you found something interesting for you, please just explore the homepage of urban mobility, or come to me in this networking part and have a little chat. Yeah, thank you.
Together we will explore the opportunities for the startups from EIT RawMaterials. My presentation is not like a pitch presentation, it's more academic. I'm coming from academic environment. But I want to prove that also academic presentations sometimes could be very fun and interesting and useful as well. So let's start with the basic information. So the EIT RawMaterials started 4 years ago here in Baltics. This hub put together 3 universities: Riga Technical University, where we are here today, Tallinn University of Technologies in Estonia, and also Kaunas University of Technologies in Lithuania. The main goal of this hub is to put all stakeholders together from industry, startups, and academia to find this triangle where they could cooperate and looking for some innovations and solutions for raw materials in the future. I know that raw materials can be sometimes hard to understand. What exactly this means? What kind of solutions or ideas or innovations this hub is looking for? So there's an answer. The innovations themes are circular economy, which are based on raw materials, recycling, so how we can recycle raw materials, what kind of innovations and some new solutions we can find, substitution, also very important, then processing, mining, and exploration. So if you are listening and finding something, oh, my startup is something we're doing under this regarding raw materials, start listening more careful. About objectives. So first one is that we want to make closing material loops, especially if you look currently on geographical situation here in Europe. It's very important to find new loops and making them closed. Designing material solutions, so again, how we make new materials, how we can replace them, etc. And securing raw materials supply. And how to reach these objectives, we have 3 strategies. One is education. So I strongly myself believe that if you want to get new innovations, you have to put on education system. So raw materials support education programs and making for them open calls, but that later. Accelerator for the startups, what maybe you will be interesting to find out more. And of course, developing this ecosystem, what I mentioned about all these stakeholders, that they do the networking and work together. Before I go deeper about calls, if my previous colleague said that there's no open calls, then in raw materials there are also some open calls. I want to give some examples from Latvia, what kind of projects have been here in RTU fulfilled. For example, this one is an example from upscaling project. It's called Up Catalyst. 5 consortium partners were involved, and the main idea of this project was to build a container where produce some suppliers for what later can be used for battery production. Second example is education project. It's called PhD Baltic Teach. It's ongoing project here in RTU, and the main goal is to make learning models online, making also face-to-face PhD summer schools, and this is also very important. Again, the outcome should be some kind of identification who are doing some PhDs under this topic like raw materials. And then about the calls, where you might be interested. The first one is booster call. It's open till September 4. You can get support till 200,000. And the main idea is that you target your market. So this funding could help you to understand where's your market and how you can go in the market. And then there's Raw Materials Accelerator program. It's open till September 11. And again, you can get some support, knowledge, how to do your startup better, and again, identify your market and find new strategies, what you can do in the future. One more, what I would like to highlight today is activity, what is called Eramet Water Resource Innovation Challenge. And in this call, the RawMaterials are looking for some innovations and for finding innovation solutions for water challenges in the mining and metal industry. For example, if you want to do the mining under the water. So if you hear something from your side might be interesting, please look carefully. You can get up to 5,000 euros for support. Then there's a lot of forums going on where you can do the networking, find maybe new partners, and etc. There, in the closed one, there are two ones. One is about materials for battery innovations, and the second one, it's a little bit challenging to read that. Photovoltaic. Oh, you can read yourself. I will not try even. And one more event, what will be happen here in Riga Technical University, almost the same floor where we are here, matchmaking breakfast. This is for the Baltics, for those startups who working under RawMaterials and also actually urban mobility. Aigars did not mention this event, but it will be in the end of September. You are all welcome to come. The goal of this event will be do the networking and identify possible projects which later can be write and submit for some EIT RawMaterials open calls. So you are welcome. You can scan QR code and immediately left your information, contact information, and inform me that you will come for this matchmaking breakfast. Coffee and some snacks will be served as well. So you're welcome. And yeah, there's my contact information. Follow us on LinkedIn for Baltic Hub. There is all information what I just mentioned about booster, accelerator programs, all the forums. So please be active, and that's the easiest way how to become part of EIT RawMaterials activities. Yes, thank you.